Professor Yilzoth of the Zarnathi Academy floated into the center of the training field, his 4 eye stalks sweeping across the interspecies class. The students stood in anticipation. Young minds from across the galaxy gathered to prove themselves in the Galactic Survival Sciences course. Behind the professor, a desolate plain stretched for kilometers. Harsh winds whipped across the red sand, and twin suns beat down from a cloudless sky. This, Yilzoth declared, is where theory meets reality. He raised a clawed digit dramatically. Your challenge is simple. Build a functional shelter that protects you from heat, sandstorms, and UV radiation. You have 1 hour. Materials are available on-site. Begin now. The students sprang into action. Crates of tools, panels, and raw materials lay stacked nearby. The Drelans extruded resin frames with their mandibles. The feathered Kalari began weaving reflective sheets into domes. A crystalline Dernithai student started aligning solar absorbers for energy buffering. Then there was Alex Carter, the only human in the class. Lean, quiet, always scribbling in a notebook. Most aliens thought of him as harmless, even frail. Alex didn't rush. He walked calmly to a supply crate, pulled out a compact black case, opened it, and began assembling components with smooth, practiced hands. Within minutes, a frame began to rise. Click, lock, unfold. The professor floated closer, curious. 10 minutes in, while the others were still unpacking or arguing over assembly diagrams, Alex zipped up a heat-insulated doorway on a fully functional shelter. The unit was sleek. Collapsible carbon fiber poles formed its skeleton. Thermal reflective nanofabric covered the exterior. Internal sensors regulated airflow and UV shielding. Even the sand-sealed base had been compressed with weighted edges to withstand wind. Professor Yilzoth blinked all 4 eyes. You're finished. Alex gave a modest shrug. Yep. You have tested it? Alex nodded and tapped a button. The shelter's status display lit green. Fully operational. Internal temperature steady. Wind resistance up to 100 kilometers per hour. Solar recharge active. The professor's tentacles curled in disbelief. You had this design pre-built? Nope, Alex replied. Just experience. Spent a few years in Earth's Death Valley. This design's based on what we use during sandstorms and flash heat waves. Figured something similar would work here. At the 30-minute mark, only a handful of students had completed their structures, most of them wobbly or incomplete. One collapsed under its own weight. Alex was inside his shelter, sipping water. By the end of the hour, the scoreboard updated. Alex Carter, human completed shelter in 10 minutes, passed with distinction. Others, 40% failed structural integrity test. 20% exposed to simulated UV leakage. 10% collapsed during final wind test. Students whispered to each other, some in awe, some in resentment. A Draelon muttered, "It's not fair. Humans use brute efficiency." A Kalari chirped, "He used practicality, not just theory." Professor Yilzoth addressed the class again. What you witnessed today is not just engineering. It is adaptation born from survival. He gestured toward Alex. Earth, a death world, forced its species to master heat, cold, storms, and wilderness long before they reached the stars. Where some of you come from comfort and control, humans come from struggle and unpredictability. He turned back to the group. Never mistake quiet for weakness. This human didn't just pass the test, he redefined it. After class, several alien students approached Alex. Can we see your shelter again? Is the fabric earth-grown? Will you share the design? Alex smiled. Sure, but next time try building for real conditions, not just textbook diagrams. Nature doesn't care about theory. That night, across interstellar forums, a clip of the challenge went viral. Caption: Alien class laughed at the human until he built a fortress in 10 minutes.